WOCA.
WOCA.
You love your theme song, don't you?
I do.
6 minutes after 10, it's time to talk about golf. The show is called Let's Talk Golf, appropriately enough. Jim Beckett is in the studio. He, of course, is a PGA professional and the golf college founder at the links of Spruce Creek South. And I may have some information wrong. I don't know. I never know until Jim corrects me or tells me I got it right. And the more important part of all of this is that he's here to answer your questions about golf and golfing and golf courses and anything associated with golf, including the Gulf of Mexico. And the phone number here to call Jim is the WOCA Climate Control Source Hotline, 622-9622. Good morning, Jim. Happy New Year.
Good morning and Happy New Year to you. It's going to be a great year for golf.
It's going to be a good year.
This year they're going to play 18 holes at most golf courses.
and now that we're past the holidays, now this February 16th date is easy to handle. There's so much before New Year's that it's kind of hard to get your mind set on anything past it. But now that we are past it, our tournament that we're involved in, it's looking good. I'm hoping that some people will take me up on my suggestion. It's not really an offer, it's a suggestion to come see you and do what we did and kind of just feel a little bit more comfortable out there playing.
Well, if they play the tournament, they'll be able to have their free clinic and they'll get it there.
Do you know what? I thought of you the other day. And you're going to be surprised at the train that the path my brain took. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
I was watching this video on this savant kid. He's maybe 20, 22 years old, something like that. He's a savant. I guess he was born with autism, but he doesn't show signs of it. But anyway, he's got these math skills that are unbelievable. He can add, subtract, divide, multiply, do unbelievable math equations, and he's, just mesmerizing everybody. So look at that. Oh, wow. So anyway, he is getting the attention of people who want to study him, and so he had to go to California from the East Coast, wherever he lives. He was going through Las Vegas, and I guess the cameras were following him, and he said, you know what, I want to see if I can use my skills playing blackjack, okay? So he sits there playing blackjack. Now, here's where I thought of you. He is not winning. He is losing.
Really?
And he makes this comment. He says, I'm trying too hard. He says, I gotta relax. I gotta let this be an intuitive thing more than just me mentally focusing so much. So he said he let go of that trying so hard and just played the game and had fun. And he won.
Well, that kind of goes along. Golf is very much that way because of its complexity, but basically anything we do in life, if we do it with a little more comfort and less pressure.
But it almost is, yeah. It is exactly what you've said before.
Sometimes for the males, the expectation is too high.
Although I think the message I get from you in that regard is that not that I'll play better, just that I'll enjoy the game better.
The experience and enjoyment of whacking that ball unencumbered any way you want to.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah. Well, and I think and you are like a maestro. You're somebody who has mastered your craft, and yet you make it seem like anybody who sits at the piano can play a pretty little song.
And I think they can.
Yeah.
I think that motto I use, can do. If you think you can, your chances of doing are a lot greater than if you hope you can or you think you can't. So you got three categories. I think I can't, maybe I can, and yes, I will.
And you got to do it.
Yeah. So I try to move, wherever that person is, I try to move them up just one level. If they're very pessimistic, I'd like for them to see, well, it is possible. If they think it's possible, then I want them to get to it's probable.
It's almost a Zen thing, isn't it?
It really is. Golf, once you get through the intimidation of whiffing the ball versus hitting it, getting it to go someplace, once you get past that category, it's much more preparation, discipline, and management than it is skill.
Although I'm guessing that the manufacturers of golf equipment would prefer that you focus more on that part of it.
Absolutely. Their clubs will work, and the other opponents won't.
Yeah.
And the clubs are very important, but they're only important if you treat them as a tool. If you want to dig a hole in the ground, most people bid a shovel or a post hole digger. But you could really do it with a fork or a spoon or a
But balance, as you taught us, balance, if the club is balanced, it's going to serve you better.
If it's balanced to you. In other words,
balanced to you.
If you're a bigger person with more muscle, you need a stronger club. If you swing faster, you need a more stable shaft. It's like driving a car very fast, a sports car or a race car. Your suspension system needs to be stronger. If you drive it smoother, you can have a softer suspension, get a better ride, and not have to spend the extra money on heavy suspension. So it relates to everything we have, every other tool we ever use.
Could you, theoretically, get a set of clubs when you were like 18 and still be using them at 88?
Generally speaking, if you play golf from 18 to 88, you might want to have to change clubs twice. In other words, have a total of 3 clubs. The club you start with needs to fit the situation you're in. As you become a more accomplished golfer, the clubs need to be tuned and more comfortable to you. And as you get older, you need that club to compensate for your lack of power and speed.
Oh, I got
like
you.
I'm using clubs that I would never have thought I would use 30 years ago. And what they are is I've got more head weight that compensates for me not being as strong in my arms and muscles. So the extra head weight hammers the ball for me, and the shaft kicks or bends and returns at a different amount. It's more. So it bends more, returns slower. So when it gets to the ball, it slaps it like a fly swatter. So I get 2 assistant elements in my clubs that I didn't need in yesteryear. I provided all of that. So you might go through a 3-club phase in a period of 50 years.
So would a younger golfer who has the strength be the equivalent of Lance Armstrong taking steroids if he used the clubs you use now, if they've got a stronger head?
Well, if I understand what you're saying, you mean an athlete like him?
In other words, if there's a younger... You said 30 years ago you wouldn't have used the golf clubs you're using now.
They would have been ineffective.
Ineffective?
I would have been in conflict with them.
Oh,
we both would have been trying to accomplish the same thing, so there would have been a tug of war going on. I would have had to hit them what would be considered very passive or very easy to make it work.
In other words, they're going to work too hard. They're going to do too well.
Correct.
They're going to hit the ball too far.
The younger you are, the stronger you are, the faster you swing, and the larger you are, you need a more stable tool to withstand that pressure or that impact you're putting up on it.
Now
and a lot of people, see, the industry don't want to talk about that stuff. They talk about stiff shafts and regular shafts and senior shafts, but they're talking about 4 categories: stiff, regular, senior, and ladies. Well, there's about 10 categories. So you can get it more tailor-made. That's like you could wear a shirt a little too large, you could wear a shirt a little too small, but you'd rather have your size.
That's right.
Then you're comfortable.
That's
so
right. Not easy to find, but it's the truth.
Comfort is a big factor, and we humans will do what we need to do to compensate. We do it instinctively, and you don't want to compensate. You want to fly like a bird. You want to have the freedom. You want to be cavalier. So you and that tool. It's like a hunter or a person that has guns. They tell me stuff I never heard about guns, and they're very specific. It's important to them.
They know.
Or fishermen.
They know that
the
stuff.
rods
Yeah,
and they
right.
put into use. So golf clubs have been presented in 4 categories, and that's the way it is, and that's not true. So I call it personalization. I like, it feels, I prefer, and the ball goes better. If you don't have all 4 of those things, you're struggling.
Ah, okay. And are you ever called upon to guide somebody in their choice of purchase when they go in for golf clubs?
I do it with every single person I meet.
Oh, wow.
I tell them not to purchase until we know what we're looking for.
Okay.
In other words, when you go to the grocery store, you have an idea what you want to buy.
Yeah, that's right.
You go out and buy a car, you already have an idea. But in golf, they have done such a fabulous job of marketing the brand name. And then it's like Tide. I can remember years ago, my mother would use nothing but the Tide cleaner because every year the whites got whiter. Well, pretty soon they'd be so white they'd blind you. So if you're lost at the golf commercials, every ball gets 6 yards further than the opponent's.
That's funny. That's a funny comparison. The phone line is open if you'd like to chat with Jim. The number here is the WOCA Climate Control Source Hotline, 622-9622.
Well, this morning with the weather, we should probably get more calls.
I would think so. Yeah, we will.
Although the diehard golfers will be out there playing this.
Now, there was another kid in the news, and this was a kid, maybe you saw this guy. He can kick a ball,
I did.
A football, and make it go anywhere he wants.
Left-footed.
Left-footed, yes.
Yeah. He's great with his right foot.
Now, did you see any interview with him?
I did.
He does it mentally.
Yep.
He envisions it going into the shopping cart or into the truck or whatever.
All athletes that are successful when those kinds of things are true, and that's what happens in golf. The golfer first starts in golf and they hope they don't whiff, so their goal is to hit the ball. Once they hit it, they look up and see it going all over the place. All of a sudden, where it goes becomes important.
Yeah, right.
So the more accomplished golfer envisions the flight they want it. I call it an art form to predestine what you want to have happen mentally, and your chances of that happening will be greater. Bubba Watson's never had a lesson. Bubba Watson looks like he needs to go to 40 golf schools. He's a left-handed guy out of Baghdad, Florida. Never had a lesson. Just learned to talk recently, so he can do interviews. But he's teach me what? It's a stick and a ball. I wanted to go over there. He's wonderful.
And is he good?
Well, he won the Masters, which is
okay. See, I don't know names.
That's the premier tournament that they all want to win.
With this kid who can kick a football, is that my phone or is that your phone? What is that I'm hearing?
It might be mine. Okay. I have it turned way down, but you got good ears.
All right, but well, I thought I had mine on bus. This kid who can kick the football anywhere, if he played golf, he's got this mental thing he does.
He'd be good.
So okay. So
he could actually take a club because of the way he thinks that wasn't so tailored to him and still do pretty good. But if the club was more personalized, he'd do even better. See, if that ball, he's just got his ball in his foot. So either the ball's pumped up enough or it's not. I mean, it's not a big difference. The golf clubs are very complex. They have weight, balance, length, strength, speed.
All makes a difference.
Oh,
and with his leg, that stays the same because it's always his leg.
So he's got a 1-to-1 ratio from the action to the destiny.
All right, so help me out here. Ford of Ocala is giving away a car for a hole-in-one at the golf tournament we're doing. I'm going to take a crack at this, okay?
I can show you how to do that.
You can show me how to do it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, giving the ball a chance to go in the hole.
Don't have to think and
talent.
And picture it.
Having the ball go in the hole is pure luck. And most hole-in-ones aren't made by real good golfers.
Oh, really?
There's more hole-in-ones made by higher handicap golfers because
that would be me.
Just happenstance. But they did get it up on the green. It's got to get up on the green to have a chance to go in the hole. So it's talent to get it up on the green. It's luck to go in the hole. I have been fortunate. I've made more than the average person, I think.
How many do you know? Do you keep
7?
7.
Mm-hmm. 4 with students, because I showed them what I wanted them to do.
And you did it.
It was still luck that went in the hole. I knew I could get it up near the hole because I have a club that goes that distance. I'm not worried about having a perfect swing, so I can just.
So you are to Fort of Ocala like this kid is to the casinos.
Well, all accomplished golfers get to that point where they see their predestiny. They call it target visualization, or shot. I do it shot visualization. To me, golf is an art form. I've gotten to the point where I can make contact, and look at there, we got the phone ringing.
We do have a phone call, and let's go to it. Good morning, you're on the air with Jim.
Yeah,
Jim
good
Beckett.
morning, Jim.
Good morning, how are you, sir?
Oh, very good, thank you. Just kind of I hope it's not too foolish of a question, but
there are no foolish questions, trust me.
Like in a professional tournament, when the golfers are on the green and putting, and one of the golfers misses a shot, it just goes over maybe 6 inches, 10 inches or so. Does he have to play that ball in, or do they just give it to him?
No. In any competition, if you're going to have a valid score, you must hold the ball out, is the term. So you must put it into the hole.
Oh, because I don't know. It seems to me like maybe they're not. It's not tournaments then that they're playing, that they're giving the guy the shot because it's so close. You don't figure he's going to miss it. But
when you play golf, we could put a tournament together for you and your friends, and we could declare we'll give gimmies up to 1 foot or 2 foot or whatever.
Yeah.
It's what's called a local rule.
Yeah.
But frankly, most tournaments for amateur golf breaks all sorts of tournament rules because of the compatibility and the fun they want to have the event be. We do that with the tournament that Larry's talking about.
Has ever in the past, and I'm going way back, have they allowed golf carts on a tournament, professional tournament?
That guy Casey, whatever his name was.
Yeah, I know he had.
That was the most pathetic lawsuit I've ever seen.
Yeah.
They tried to say that having a cart was not any benefit to him.
Right.
Having a cart's a benefit to anybody if you're playing a hilly course or a long course.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't care what kind of physical shape you're in. There is. People say, well, golf doesn't mean to be an athlete. You get out and walk 5 or 6 miles and find out.
Yeah, right.
And then swing a club too. It's not like it's, the Olympics, but I mean it does. And so no, they've never allowed carts in professional competition. And I was shocked when they lost that lawsuit.
Yeah, well, that was interesting at that time. Yeah. Okay, well, thanks a lot for your answer.
You're welcome, sir.
You bet. Bye now.
Give us another call.
So what you're saying is that because he had the golf cart, this guy that you were just talking about, he had an advantage because he wasn't exhausted by the time he got to the next hole.
And I don't blame him for trying to do that, but that gave him a tremendous edge. And of course, the reason he got it is that he had some kind of a problem with his leg.
Oh, okay.
Some swelling and some pain. But it always amazed me that when he played well and made birdies, he walked a lot better than when he played bad. He didn't walk the same. Now, I know the pain could have come differently.
Right.
But what happened is, for him to get that advantage makes sense. But to give all the other players playing the correct way gave them a disadvantage. So that time we didn't have democracy.
That's true. That's what it sounds like, yeah.
How about the players that were a little older? And you don't have the same strength and balance and flexibility and all that stuff. And that's why they have even the senior tour. They still walk. It's a walking game, and the only reason we have carts is money. That's the only reason, and try to speed up play. And what carts did was slow play down, because 2 people riding the cart. So you hit it down the fairway to the left side, I hit it in the right rough. We got to drive both places. If we were walking, we walked straight to our ball and hit it. Walking is faster than carts. Always has been.
Oh, really?
Well, you walk to your ball.
That makes sense.
You already are sizing up your shot. People ride a cart, they don't even decide what club they want until they get over to their ball. So they've waited for another person to hit. Now they've had to take the cart over to wherever it is. If there's some cart restrictions, they'd have to drive around the fairway or whatever.
Do players take too many clubs with them? In other words, if they walked everything, they might not take as many clubs because it would be just a lighter load.
Well, we're allowed 14, and most people think that's mandated. You got to carry 14. I play with 11 because I haven't found a use for the 12th one. If I find a use for a club I need that I don't have, then I'll add that to my set. But 11's all I use, and I don't use all of them. If I was really going to pare down, I would use 9 clubs.
See, this shows you how at the bottom of the totem pole I am, because I remember when we were playing, I think I kept using the same club over and over again.
Correct.
Yeah.
When I first played, I used about 4 clubs. I used something to get off the tee, something to hit it as far as I could.
Well, I used the driver I did use it was different.
Something to get on the green and putt the ball in the hole.
I think okay. So I think I used the putt close to the hole.
You probably used 3 or 4 clubs. That's about it.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
I mean, but if you look at them as tools, not clubs. But some people will say, well, I would miss my 7-iron because I hit my 6 150 and I had my 8 only 135. So don't hit the 6 so hard. On TV, they will say the world's greatest players, oh, he's in between clubs. Give me a break. I do a clinic where I take a club and try to hit it 10 different distances. You don't have to take a swing to kill it every time. It's amazing how people hurt themselves by being so tunnel visioned and getting influenced by others that don't, and put the word horse sense into it. It's a stick and a ball, You're walking the ball around the course, but you're pushing it in front of you. You know, you're just trying to beat it around the golf course.
I'm going to tell you a saying that's in music and see if it applies to golf. This is the saying, if you skip a day of practice, when you perform the next day, you will know it. If you skip 2 days of practice and you play the next day, your audience will know it. Is that true in golf too? Will you greatly feel
when you're trying to swing what we call a fundamental swing, a mechanical swing, or a created swing? In other words, you're trying to follow some guideline someone has said is the way that's going to give you the most success. If you're asking your brain and your body to reconfigure with your thought and your body, yes, you need to practice. I don't ever practice. There's nothing to practice.
But you play all the time, so
I play very little because it's boring.
Do? What?
Well, the Florida golf courses, the fairways are too wide. The greens don't have much.
You don't play often?
No.
Really?
I've played. I think this year, last year, I played 3 18-hole rounds. I played about 10 9-hole rounds. So
are you driving a lot? Driving the ball, I mean. That's
no.
Right. Really?
No. Well, I'm at a different level. See, I learned the old way that was hard and inconsistent. And I was fortunate enough to meet somebody and said, why don't you go ahead and do what works best? And I said, oh, you're kidding. That's not right. And he says, who's said what's right? It's what right is what works for you.
Huh.
You know, so he taught me that I had an option. Well, once I found out I had an option, golf was pretty simple. You just hit it down the fairway. The ball's only 1 2/3 inches wide, and most fairways are 30 or 40 yards wide. How could you miss one?
But it's still a game. And as a game, there's going to be people who are good at it and people who are better at it, and people
Correct.
who are not so good at it.
But I don't.
But you don't.
Well, it doesn't make me any better to hit practice balls. But I'm at a different level.
Really?
You know, I mean, if it's just take a club.
I'm going to remember this when Dan asked me to go practice.
Well, now Dan needs to practice. See, Dan is trying to hit home runs.
Yeah, well, so what's wrong with that?
I hit singles and doubles. I hit easier shots. I don't ask myself to hit such a perfect shot or at full power. So I just ping pong it into the fairway, and then there's a certain distance.
But what about just the sheer fun of doing it? I mean,
it's fun, but I can't find anybody that wants to play.
You can't find somebody who wants to play for fun. There's got to be plenty of people who want to play.
We have these are the 5 categories of people on the golf course, and I did this at the villages when I had the new to golf school to try to tell them I was applauding them for taking the time to get introduced properly so that they can enjoy it. We have a lot of participants that go out on the golf course who are not prepared to play. I watch people play golf, and it amazes me that they think that's fun. They're all over the place. They're losing balls or chopping up the grass. So I
think it is fun, though.
So we have, but you made it fun.
Oh,
is that us?
No, that's what I thought too, but it's not.
We have participants. We have bitchers and complainers, which is basically the female gender. I'm sorry, ladies. We have alibiers, which is totally the males.
That's the
guys.
It's
never their fault.
Right.
We have course cloggers. And I'll give you an example about that in a minute. And then mixed amongst those 4 categories, we have a sprinkling of a few golfers, which a few golfer means the person knows how to get around the course more efficiently, has more fun, shoots a lower score, which everybody wants. Now that course clogger, when I was first in Florida 10 years ago, we got a free round of golf at the facility where we bought a home, had a golf course. And so we went out. My wife's not a golfer, so we went out, and she was petrified. They put 2 people with us because she's not a player. So these guys go out on the first hole, and they don't drive the cart up to the ball. They want to leave it in the rough, protect the grass. But you had the option to do that. So they walked out from the rough, maybe 20 yards, 25 yards, and sized up the shot. Then they went back to the cart, got a club and brought it back out, and maybe the breeze kicked up a little bit. They decided that was the wrong club, so they walked back to the cart, got another club. Now, take 3 clubs. I take 3 clubs to every shot.
Yeah.
So finally, they hit it halfway. So while they were sizing up the shot that they didn't have the physical capability. So we played 3 holes with them, and said, "Gentlemen, we have to go." And we played the rest of the 15 more holes, and when we finished, they were coming up the 9th fairway. My wife's a non-golfer. I mean, she had a zillion times. And I asked him, I said, guys, would you like some help with this? I'll be glad to. I never told anybody I'm a pro because sometimes it might intimidate them. He said, oh, no, we got it. And that's what you run into.
Wow.
And that's part of the reason the price is so high. The golf course has to fit so many, just like a restaurant. You need to turn that table.
Yeah.
If you don't, you got the cost.
Yeah.
So, but they were perfectly happy. They took about 6 hours to play 18 holes.
I guess I fit the clogger category.
No.
Well, what category? I don't fit
you're a new golfer. I saw you. You went out there. You were focused. You took a club out. You tried to get it to go forward.
Yeah.
You're what we call a new golfer.
Okay. Well, I was just having fun, though.
Correct. And did you notice? Not everybody did. A lot of people aren't having fun out there at all. They're frustrated. They can't hit it where they want it to go. They can't hit it far enough.
Well, I know there was a lot of competition out there.
Oh, yeah.
And see, that was not part of what I was doing. I was having fun, and I was
You're a new golfer.
I was excited when something went right.
Yeah, you were exploring. Yeah, you looked at the positives. That's what I do.
And I was surprised when we ended that we didn't win a prize. I thought for sure we had a good score.
Well, in those tournaments, you don't do it just strictly on score.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
But they had some good food at the end. I remember that.
Yeah, the 19th hole's a good hole.
So if we're getting you interested, you want to play any tournament, especially the WOCA tournament, it'll benefit the veterans. Call us here at the station. They'll tell you, whoever answers the phone, tell you how.
I've done a million tournaments. I can't think of a better tournament for a golfer to get exposed to than the one you're talking about.
Than this one. It's a fun.
Tell them that again. I recommend it highly. It's one of the best tournaments we've done since I've been in Florida.
Oh, wow, that's nice to say.
And it was because you guys came prepared also. So you were easy to help. And it's not always the case. That was a great tournament, and I recommend it to anyone, golfer or not. Come out and get that exposure like Larry. It's just amazing.
There you go. It is fun. I am looking forward to it. And what is it, a month and 13 days away?
And I'll be there to help anyone. They can come early, and I can give them a little prep before they go out like we did you guys. And we're going to have a specific clinic.
What are we asking? How much money? $60. $60 if you want to play.
You can go to golf courses and pay $90 just for greens fee.
And this is food, and this is, but of course this is a fundraiser for the Vets Helping Vets.
Of course.
For Hank's guy.
It's the best tournament we've run since we've been in Florida.
I'm looking forward to it. It was fun last year when we did it.
It was great.
We have to put your music on again.
Okay, I like it.
Your favorite song? Do you have this in your CD player in the car?
I don't.
You need to get it.
Dan was going to get me one.
Well, we don't even know what it's called, do we?
I don't know. He does.
We call it Let's Talk Golf with Jim Beckett. That's what we call it.
There you go.
So how do we call you? What's your phone number?
My personal cell number is 352 470 3876.
3876.
And we do have a new satellite campus down in the Villages at a golf store with a simulator called Village Golf Liquidators. It's a great place, inexpensive equipment if someone wants to get started, and we can help you with that simulator and give you a lot of startup help.
All right. I hope our listeners all take us up on our offer. Come out and play. We'll have some fun. Have some good food, good time together, and
great tournament.
And at the end, you all get to see each other. You don't see each other until the end, though.
Right.
Oh, well, the very beginning, and the end, you see everybody. Jim, always a good show. Love doing the show with you.
Thank you, sir. I do too. This is great.
We'll take a little break, and we'll be right back.
Ocala's information station, 1370 WOCA. Ocala.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Life jackets save lives. Wear it, Florida. For today, variable cloudiness with a passing shower during the afternoon. Highs ranging from 66 in the north to 76 across the southernmost part of the zone. It'll be mostly cloudy tonight with a shower. Lows ranging from 48 in the very coldest spot to about 61 on the beaches.